Hello, both sides of the conversation family. We welcome you to this virtual space crafted especially for you. My name is Jada Curry, and I'm both sides of the conversation's marketing director and graphics design specialist. I want to take some time to ground us all as a community into this space we are about to open up in, so let's go through our community standards. Both sides of the conversation is providing a safe and honest space for open conversation, so we ask that you all be respectful of that. We also ask that you be respectful of each panelist, host, and participant. We do encourage healthy debates and conversations. Don't personalize anything with anyone. This includes name-calling, bullying, trolling, or shaming. This will not be allowed or tolerated. Your perspective is yours. It is not a prescription. You do not have to agree, but show respect. These community standards apply to all of our live shows and any virtual spaces that we hold on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to make sure that we are caring for each other as a community. This is our priority in all of our endeavors as both sides of the conversation. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's show and continue to stay in touch with us via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or all of them. All right, thank you for listening and see you soon. Instagram, or all of them. All right, thank you for listening and see you soon.
Welcome, everybody, to Both Sides of the Conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director. Excited because today is Educational Thursday, and it's another opportunity for us to intentionally give our community information that is needed. Tonight, we have a phenomenal guest that's going to be talking about life insurance and some of the insurances that we need to protect our assets and to pass generational wealth to our families and to the community. So I'm just happy to have that. But before we get started tonight, just want to say a couple of things to the community. It's a lot of things happening this week. I can't keep up with all of them, but I want to say happy appreciation to all our teachers out there. I know this is Teacher Appreciation Week, as well as this Nurse Appreciation Week. So I just want to say, give a big shout out to all our nurses out there who take care of our communities and the hospitals, do the things to support us every day, especially during this COVID. So just want to highlight and say thank you to all of the nurses for the great work that they do to keep us all healthy and safe. And it's just phenomenal just to know the work that they're doing for the community. And then also it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So just wanted to highlight that and make sure that everybody's doing their part to stay safe and taking care of themselves and making sure that they're watching out for their mental health needs. It is real. It is happening around our country. And I know we switching out of this pandemic and things are happening. And I know sometimes people don't like to talk about it, but mental health is real. And we're going to keep highlighting mental health awareness for this month. And just want to say another thing. Thank you to all the people that came out. I went to a couple of the Cinco de Mayo events. I ran into a couple of people from the community. People was out having a good time, and I didn't really hear any problems. So that was just good to be out with community. And just want to thank everybody for going out, celebrating, and having a great time. And then lastly, I know the buzz been going around in our group and around our local newspapers about the young man who was racially profiled at the Safeway here in San Francisco on Church and Market Street. I have a lot of feelings about this, but for me, I'm going to stand up as a community leader and say, I want to apologize to the young man and to the family because we wasn't there to support him. And, I know there was a lot of other communities members and affiliates that said they didn't even know the incident happened. So here at both sides of the conversation, we are working to really unite our communities through technology. We are looking for software developers. We're looking for people who could create apps and different things of that nature, because we have to really be in unison when we talk about solidarity, making sure that community know what's going on. So if you're a software developer or a company that does apps and different things of that nature, please have them reach out to us at both sides of the conversation Gmail. I reached out to a couple, but I'm still looking. We need to do some stuff to create some apps and different softwares for our community. So I'm looking forward to that. So if anyone out there know of any company or anybody that deals with developing apps and different things of that nature, please reach out to us at both sides of the conversation, because we want to create something that's going to definitely impact our community when it comes to information. We have to get our elders, we have to get our young people connected with this technology, so that when things are happening in our community, good, bad, or otherwise, we have the information. When there's events and things going on, we need to connect our communities. It's no way that our community, especially the Black community, wasn't there to support and rally with these young people. But I want to give a good shout out to the teachers and the staff at MLK that went down there to support the young men. I know a bunch of the students went, and I just want to say shout out to those young people. Very proud of those young people standing up for what's right, coming together, and I just want to say thank you to the teachers who had the dignity to stick together, get the young people to go down there. But again, when there's community issues, our community leadership, our community organizations, our executive directors, and our elected officials, we can't just pull up and show up when certain events happen in our community and talk about it. And it's sad that our community, and I was one of them, I didn't get the information till late. And, I take full responsibility as a community leader. We're supposed to be at these incidents, and we're supposed to be there to support our young people. Again, our young people sometimes they don't really understand. And as adults, it's our job to make sure that our young people are not being traumatized and, things like that happening to them. And as community, we got to do a better job as families to stick together, rally in solidarity for all community issues all year long. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say both sides of the conversation. We will be doing our part, and it starts with technology and some of the information to get community connected. And we're going to continue to do our part to support community. And we're going to be collaborating with some other organizations to better find a way that we can fix this communication gap. So that we could be there in support of our community when things arise in our community. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Mr. Shell to go ahead and introduce tonight's guest.
Thank you. Cynthia Yannacone is an active community leader. She has over 20 years of experience with the people in San Francisco. She graduated from San Francisco State University and has worked at the Good Samaritan Family Resource Center. Currently, she is a financial wellness coach. She is here today to give you all a workshop in the area of life insurance. Cynthia, welcome to the show.
Got to unmute yourself. You're having a John Henry moment there.
I was saying thank you to Shell and John. It's good to be here. And so I can start with sharing my screen.
Definitely.
Okay, let me see. Okay. All right, can you see that?
Yep, we can see it.
Awesome. With technology. Well, thanks again. I'm really glad to be here. John has a special name because my dad's name was John. So I'm really glad to be here, and especially in this month that they're acknowledging the Latinx, and Brown community. And I encourage all my community family to get on as well. I know I've invited a few people to be part of this events and sharing all the information that we have. And for myself, I'm going to share, like Tashelle said, I am a financial wellness coach. And what I provide is financial education and leadership development, usually in a group or individual setting, to help bring awareness and take action. I work with individuals who lack financial literacy, which is most of us, since a lot of us didn't get that in high school, unfortunately, and have challenging emotional relationships with money, or have other obstacles keeping them from managing their money. So I help individuals create their goals to reach their dreams while they develop healthy money habits that will last a lifetime. And like Tashelle said, this is only one aspect when I'm going to talk about the income protection, which is life insurance. But one of my biggest thing is to break the cycle of poverty and create generational wealth. And it all begins with you, us. So I'm going to ask that you guys, whoever's on, can grab a pen, a paper, a notebook, whatever you may need. But I really want you to answer these questions and think about this in your financial journey. These are the things to consider. What do you value most in life. And for me, I'm just going to share that my family is really important to me. And it's something to think about. If something were to happen to you, what would you have in place to protect your family? And honestly, it's a learning experience, and I'll go more into that. But it's really important to have things to protect your family. And secondly is really to think about the beliefs you have about money. I grew up with my dad saying a lot of times, money doesn't grow on trees, I'm broke. And, that really created a lot of fear behind money, not having enough. And so I think it's just really important to figure out what are some of the beliefs that you have? Where did they actually come from? And are they still serving you? And what type of lifestyle do you want in retirement? For me, I want to travel. So I put, do you want to travel? I want to travel for sure. And, I like being involved in the community like Tashelle and John knows. I've been involved for like over 20 years. I started when I was 14. I remember volunteering a lot. But do you want to be more involved in your church or, in the community, create more programs for our future generations? I know it's something I want to do as well. So write these things down. There's a power in writing things down. So have you been able to save money, whether for your emergency savings, retirements, or dreams and goals? And write down how much you've saved, if whatever amount that is. And think about what have you been able to save in these last 10 years? Is it enough to retire and walk away from your job right now and live on your own terms? So in the next years, if you save the same amount of money that you did in the last 5 years, would you be happy? Most time, if the answer is no, then I'm happy you're here. So going into why I'm even a financial wellness coach. Back in 2018, July 12th, my dad passed away. And, he had no life insurance. And luckily, my mom's still alive, so I'm thankful and grateful about that. But there was no living trust in place. And my mom lost his pension plan. And if you could see there, he worked for Kaiser. He worked for 46 years. He was a hardworking man, and he always provided for us and made sure we had everything we needed. But obviously, he didn't know about like life insurance or how it worked, or nobody actually talked to him about it, which is why he's been my biggest inspiration. My mom, too, have lost her 401k back in the 2008 crash, again, from not knowing. And I know that our family members, and with all due respect, like try to give us the best advice that they feel is the best advice. And, it is what it is. And I think that my mom, we've learned through all these experiences. And so I also have my children, and I feel like I don't want them ever to be in a position where they're not, they don't have what they need. And so I just feel it's really important. And my dad, like I keep smiling because he's still around me so much, and he's shown me a lot. And the day he actually transitioned, I was going on my first Tony Robbins personal development, however you want to call it, experience. And it was called Unleash the Power Within. And my dad showed up. It was so interesting. The moment I walked off the plane is when I got the text from my mom, my sister, and that he had passed. And, here I am trying to figure things out. But the first volunteer was my sister's and my mom's name. And I'm so thankful and grateful for them because they are so supportive of me, Nancy. And then I met a Stephanie, which is my oldest daughter. And she actually does this with me too. She's, going and growing. And I actually have 2 grandbabies, believe it or not. And they call me Mama Cynthia. And, so through this, like understanding, like, finances is on a continuum. And, for me, it's like you're learning, and whatever you need, little by little things as you learn, because financial literacy, like I mentioned, isn't taught. So some of this stuff is really overwhelming and kind of could go over someone's head. But that's why I just take an approach of like meeting you where you're at. And again, like I said, with my dad, I've met all these wonderful, people named John. And actually in October of 2019, me and colleagues opened up an office in San Bruno. And I thought all along that the office was 103 because upstairs is 203. And the week literally before I opened up the office, I realized it was 111. And that's my dad's birthday. And so that's why I feel like even more inspired to like do what I'm doing to help the community understand about financial literacy. And so here I am, financial education, helping people become financially savvy. Why? Because most people are financially illiterate. And financial literacy, and it's so important why we need it, right? Is money habits. But one of the things that really speaks to me is the 76% of American families say they live paycheck to paycheck. And usually they have more than one job. And I know that because that's been me at one point. And, so I think it's really important to understand like all this, the way money works and stuff like that. So, and our philosophy is no family left behind. And so if you see family A and family B, family A is many middle class, right? And, the wealthy, you can see the differences, like family A making 100K or less, they have a job, and there's nothing bad with the job. I have a job too, but, it's just, something for the 401k plan. And most people have the 401k plan. They don't understand it. And that's what I realized too. Most of the time I ask people and they're just like, I don't know, like it's for my retirement. And then there's term life insurance. You rent a house, you put money in the bank, credit card debt, minimal taxes, advantages, and no plan, right? In the majority of the population. And family B is the 250 or more, business owner, index accounts, permanent life insurance, homeowners, diversified portfolio, which I didn't really realize either, like, not putting your eggs all in one basket, debt-free, maximizing tax advantage, and a small percent of the population. And the biggest thing that's really different is having a financial professional working with them. And there's nothing wrong with family A and B. Like, I feel like you want to either, figure out how to get to family B or, and it's a process, right? It's a process to do that. And, you realize how much more families you can help when you have more to do. And the reason I also share that is because my son, like I said, I have an 18-year-old son. And I did a personal financial review with him. And I have to share that one of the things that really impacted me was he was 26 years old. He had a house. He's making $20,000. He was giving $5,000 a month to charity. And that's what stuck to me. Because in the beginning, when we had our conversations, he didn't really want to talk. He didn't understand why I was becoming a financial wellness coach. Like, what did that all mean? And, little by little, we're shifting. And I'm going to meet with him personally, too, with my other mentors to help him to set up right now for his retirement and what that could look like. Because one of the things that most people don't know, most families don't know, and is that time and money are the biggest creators of wealth. And starting early just will make it, better in the future. So like it says, most people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. And that's why I'm here to help. So one of the biggest things that I teach is the 3 rules of money. So if you play a sport or you board game, it's really important to know the rules in order to win, right? Because then you're not going to win. So, I teach these 3 basic rules and talk about the different phases, which is accumulation, protection, and distribution. And because those are important to understand while you are, preparing and planning for your future. So the first is compound interest and the rule of 72. And that was created by Albert Einstein, and it's considered one of the 8 wonders in the world. You divide 72 into the percentage of what an account or strategy is offering you, and that's how long it'll take your money to double. So I'm going to go, like the 1%, it'll take 72 years to double. If you were 29, you had $10,000. By the time you're 101, you're going to have the $20,000 I don't think that's going to benefit you. But, it's just to, have the concept there. The 4 to 6%, the money's doubling 18 to 12 years. And there's strategies that are 12%. And so that means that your money's doubling every 6 years. And most of the time, retirement is another, like, it's a number as well. Like 65 is usually what people have. I remember having the conversation with my dad. He said, I have to wait till I'm 72. And I'm like, no, I don't. But, it is what it is. And, they're just showing an example here, how much money to have when you're retired. And the second rule is how money grows. It only grows in 3 ways, and it's fixed, either like that's usually through the bank, savings account, and then there's a variable, and that looks like a heart attack, right? It's going up and down, and so it's unstable. And so if people need to understand, like a lot of times people say the market's going to correct itself, and sure, it may and it will, but do you have the time, if you're going to retire? Recently, just like to share, I was sitting down with a friend who wants to retire in 3 years, and she knows what I do and stuff. But, I just told her, let me help you figure out how much money you would need. There's a specific formula for your financial independence needs number. And she only has a 401k, and she has about 120, but her financial independence needs number is 700. So, she has 3 years to figure it out, but it's just good to know like what you would need, and it's all individual based. And then it's the index, right? It's when your money goes up, it's like a hybrid of the both. The money goes up and you get gains, but if the market goes down, then it locks at 0. And we all have that famous Uncle Sam. So basically it's how money gets taxed. So tax now is the savings accounts, the CDs, the mutual funds. The tax laters is the 401k. So like people need to understand, like, you think taxes are going to be lower or higher in the future? Well, most people say higher because right now it's at its lowest. And if you're going to be saving, you have to make sure to understand that half of your, or maybe close to half of your money may be going towards taxes. And then there's the IRAs, fixed annuities, and savings bonds. And then there's a tax advantage, the Roth IRAs, where when you pull out your money, you don't have to pay taxes, the executive bonus plan, and the cash accumulation and insurance policy. And so, I don't know, everything comes in books, right? Education is important. So I'm not saying a lot of these things. There's a lot of things that I'm learning. There's one book that's not on here that I'm going to share because this is the book that I'm reading and rereading and taking really close notes on, because it's called What Would the Rockefellers Do? And the Rockefellers created generational wealth for the last 7 generations. And in order to do that, I need to learn. So, I'm in the process of doing that. But it's just really important to have an open mind. And I have here Kobe Bryant. I know his anniversary just passed, right? And sometimes the biggest mistakes we make in life is thinking we have time. And, there's been a lot, maybe because of COVID or just social media, there's a lot of access to knowing about people passing away these days. Like I honestly my high school friend just passed away. So that just happened. It was her rosary last night. And just thinking about that. And, another friend of mine, her young brother passed away. And just so many, we can probably be here all night talking about that. But, I'm sure these families, maybe some had stuff, but I'm sure some of them that I know didn't. And it's just, we so like get insurance on our cars and our homes and our cell phones. And, sometimes the last thing we really insure is our life, which is the most valuable, for the lack of understanding, I'm sure. So that's why I'm here to teach a little bit about the different life insurances that are out, because I always thought it was just death benefits, right? When something, but if someone goes too soon, it's best to have something in place. And it's so, these are the different types of life insurance. And term life, it's temporary. There's no cash value in there, but it will protect you between the ages, the years between 10 and 30. And then going to whole life, there's a cash accumulation in there too. It's 2 to 4% average rate return. And then there's universal life, which is 4 to 6%. And then there's the variable universal life as well. And there's no cap and no floor on there. And then there's the index universal life. And just talking from my own experience, I have term, and I actually have term with living benefits, and I'll go into that in a little bit. And I have index universal life. Don't have it only for me, but I have it for my children. Why? I mean, I thought the same way. I was like, why would I get it on my kids? But when I talked to my financial coach, mentor, they were like, well, if anything were to ever happen to your child, would you just go back to work like that? Would you think you could handle that? And I'm like, oh, I didn't think. That's what happens. We just don't think. So it was like, no, I need to get it. And then and of course, you know, at the end of the day, it's going to benefit him as well if I continue to save in there. So these are little things that we, you know, it's important to learn and to know. And so the term with living benefits. So this is something that's really important. It's like if you become critically, you know, chronically or terminally ill, right? And critically means like a heart attack, a stroke. I mean, I know people who've been through this, and actually I have a close friend right now that's dealing with breast cancer. And it's, you know, it's, you know, people, I mean, you try to tell people you do what you do, but you know, they have to be the one to want to do something as well. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm supporting her right now as much as I can, but, you know, she still has to work, and she has to, you know, still try and heal. And, you know, just to see that is kind of sad to me, but, you know, it's from the lack of not knowing, right? At the end of the day. And there's a 75% chance that, you know, you will become critically, chronically, or terminally ill. So it's important to have some of these things in place. And when if you become chronically ill, there's like, if you're not be able to do 2 of the active daily living, then you could actually take out money from your term with living benefits. That's makes the benefit of it. So it's almost insurance on top of, you know, income protection money there. And then terminal illness benefits as well. And then the rest goes to death benefits. And there's the option as well for the disability income. So going in a little bit to the IUL is, you know, 80% of the people save their monies in bank because they feel like it's safe. And, you know, we understand that. Most people don't even know how the banks work either. And it's important. I won't go in too much into it, but you know, the bank has an FDIC for a reason. And, you know, if you looked more into that, you'd see their strategies and what they do. But the other 15% save money or invest money in rate of returns like stocks and bonds and things like that as well. And they're willing to risk certain things. And then there's the 5%ers that invest their money in insurance, because when they access their money, they know their money will come out tax-free when it's properly set up. And so that's what's really important to understand. And so, you know, at the IUL, it has all of these 3 components, and it comes with perks, right? And protection, you know, protection for yourself and your family. And this is what I'm actually working on too, is an emergency fund. So I have one of these working for my emergency fund. And then there's for retirement, and then there's child's future, because this can help for college as well, like college planning. It could be for, you know, maybe if they want to buy a home and you want to help them put on a down payment, buy a car, or, you know, any things that they might want to do that you'll be able to help them with. And definitely there's the component in savings of it. So just really quick, how I work in my business model is I meet with people, a licensed professional, and I don't work alone. Like, I have other people who work with me and do an amazing job. And we're connected to a business platform that gives us access to providers, right? And then we help our clients. And like I said, the 3 things that we do basically is we educate on money rules, we show financial options, and we direct to the right providers, because the clients can go to direct providers, but they wouldn't know what to ask for or who to ask for. So And so it's important, right, to know your options. And like, as I mentioned, the income protection option goes in through a lot of the life insurance, the different types that there are. The retirement options, there's other ways as well that you can create your own pension plan. Then it's the children's future. And I'm going to just talk really quick about how it's important also to have a living trust. And like I said, everything's on a continuum. My mom, I helped her do hers. I'm in the process. I just finished my living trust. I'm in the process of filing it. And, it's a process to understand all of this. Sometimes you just need the support to understand how to do it. So, and I'm saying it here because this was the first time I had to share with my kids what a living trust is, why I have it, what's in it, and my last wishes and what I want, right? And I know it sounds like, oh, you don't want to talk about it, but at the end of the day, no one's getting out of your life. And, I'd rather my kids know what I want than trying to guess and deal with, when they're trying to deal with my loss at the end of the day. So, it's important to have those things, talk about those things and prepare. And it was interesting, I just have to say. And then the other thing is that I'm always looking for people who are ambitious and hardworking as me and wanting to help the community, because my biggest vision right now, and I'm also working with the youth intern, is to break the cycle of poverty and create generational wealth, especially for the Black and Brown community, because I think that's what we need. And that's why I really appreciate both sides of the conversation, because they're the voice. They're giving the community a voice to have, people of color like me, Latina, I'm Peruvian, I'm bilingual, being able to create the trust and the connection people need to talk about this and to have a better understanding of, the financial strategies that's out there. And, I've had extensive training with that. And I also have a professional license. So we basically give access to products and providers that people normally wouldn't have access to on their own. So that's why I'm very passionate about what I do. And these are basically some of the companies. I'm sure you've heard of Nationwide is on your side, because that's one of the companies that's well known. And then there's Transamerica, who doesn't know that pointy building that comes out in so many movies. And then there's Prudential, Athene, Everest as well. And that's also is combination with the funeral concierge. So they pay out within 48 hours should anything happen. And Pacific Life and Athene. So these are just some of the, I think it's about 88 companies that I work with. So I work for my clients, for my family, for my friends, to get them the best, and so, because I'm non-captive, I don't have to be like only providing from one company. And these are some of the financial services we provide, the 401ks, because we work with, and what we look for, like families, individuals, business owners, small or big, to provide, all these services, life insurance and long-term care, which is really important too, because at the end of the day, we are living longer too. So, and long-term care can be really expensive. In the college plan, the indexed universal life, the fixed index annuities, the executive bonus plans, legacy planning, wills and living trust, and much more. When I share this, I always tell people that we do a financial needs analysis, and we touch onto these 6 topics, which is the increase of cash flow, the college planning, the emergency fund, the proper protection, the building wealth, and the preserving wealth. And most of the time people are like, I want to do all 6. And yes, we can do all 6, but one at a time, because we just got to figure things out, but, it's exciting, and it really is exciting. And I just want to share, like, I was reaching out to some of the people that I've helped, and I was like asking them, like, what did they like most about how we've helped them? And, they said it was convenient, because a lot of things now are on Zoom. I still have the access to the office in San Bruno, but a lot of things are happening through Zoom. So it's been convenient. They really appreciate the education about the financial strategies that we teach them about. And, just the way that we're, I guess, work with them and be patient and helping them understand stuff. So it's been great. So, what's important to you? You have to just think about that. And so where do you see yourself starting out? And so there's a complimentary financial review, which is where we help everybody find their financial independence needs number, just so that they know like how much money. It's a formula that you would need when you retire, because everybody's different. So we can't, like cookie cut, like this is, but there's a formula that kind of is individualized for everybody. And then there's also the dime formula, what really helps people understand their income protection, how much they would need should anything happen to them. And during that, and we kind of figure out some people have things in place and some people don't. Like from my own experience, like I was trying to be good, and I did get a life insurance when I worked for Good Samaritan Family Resource Center through my union. And after my dad passed away and I was figuring it out, I was like, I only had 46,000, and I'm like, oh my God, like that's not gonna help, at the end of the day, because I've been blessed. I live out here in the Bayview, and I have a home that I got through Mission Economic Development Association and San Francisco Housing Corporation. So, they helped me, and I just feel like it's so important. Sometimes I forget, like I own a home and stuff. And so, but it's important. And I help families with that too, like if they want to do that. But anyways, in the complimentary financial review, there's a lot to kind of look at, and we take it from there. And then there's also the referral basis. So if someone wanted to refer people, and that's kind of how we kind of keep going and growing. And, if we're able to help you, then we would see if you could help us by referring at least 3 to 5 people. And then we reach out to them. And of course, that's what I like about the family and friends stuff. And then this is where I'm at. I'm a part-time career because I'm licensed, and eventually would love to do this full-time as time permits. I do have my job, which I really appreciate too, and enjoy doing. And then there's people that do this full-time and business owners. But especially right now, because of all the COVID, there are people who just have come on to be full-time because they've either gotten furloughed or, their job's not there anymore or whatnot. But, I think that's what's important. And like on the bottom it says, knowledge is power, right? But knowledge is not power unless it's applied. And so, we really encourage people to take action just to see where they're at, to just kind of make different decisions if that's what's needed. And of course, this is me. I'm so happy for my business card that I created. And you can see I have my license there, and I am one of the things, I am bilingual, se hablo español. And this quote that I like is, helping someone is what life is all about. And that's from Will Stargell. And I don't know, it just feeds to me, because I think ever since I was 14, I started working with Mauricio Vela, who's my first boss ever. And rest in peace. He really encouraged me always to give back to the community. And that's really in my heart. And I'm just so glad, to be able to provide and give this information. And then I just want to say thank you, gracias, for, listening to my presentation. I hope you got a lot out of it. If there's any questions, always feel free to reach out to me. I know that, let me see, my last one, there's my phone number. Maybe I'll just go back to that really quick. So my phone number is the best way to reach out. And my number is 415-286-0616. And my Facebook is Sinjen. And my Instagram is financial_wellness_sin. So feel free to reach out. And that concludes my presentation.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Phenomenal information. I think that that's the information that our community definitely need to hear, especially when it comes to life insurance. That we've been impacted not only by COVID, but typically in our Black and Brown communities, we are hit heavily when it comes to violence and different things of that nature. And
Yeah.
having life insurance is very, very important. And I'm glad you spoke about you having term life insurance, because here both sides of the conversation, I'm always talking about this life insurance thing. And I get real picky, in particular when people come on the platform and talk about all these different insurances. But term insurance is the way to go for our community. When I do these shows and we're doing this thing for community, we're talking about the people that we deal with every day. And we come from communities where we're sometimes economically challenged. And we have to make sure that we be real and honest what really works for us. And sometimes, people come and they want to sell these whole life policies and different things that really, for our community, it's not really the best policy to be selling, because the premium cost over the long haul definitely starts to impact them. And typically what happens 90% of the time is those policies dissolve because people just can't keep up with the premiums because the monthly payments are so high. So I always talk to people about term, and I'm glad you said that. I have a term policy. It's pretty straightforward. You could get up to a $2 million policy for about $100 a month, and you can get a $500,000 policy for less than probably $45 a month. I always encourage people while they're creating their budget, make sure your life insurance is in there. We never know when something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because we have to have these coverages. I am tired of seeing GoFundMe's. I am tired of seeing people on the corner asking for donations, selling plates, doing whatever they have to do to bury their loved ones. I think it's our responsibility as adults, as family leaders, and community leaders to make sure that our community get educated about life insurance and making sure that we have the protection there. So if something happened to us, we give our generation or our young people under us a healthy head start financially. And it all ties into everything. When it comes to estate planning, I'm reaching out to a couple more estate planning lawyers just to make sure that community really understands why it's important to have these things in place. And then especially if you work for an organization who offer life insurance, or you work for a company that offers, you still need to have your own personal policy outside of your company. A lot of people I know, they're like, hey, I got life insurance through my job. Well, if you lose your job or something happened, you lose those benefits.
Exactly.
Typically what happens is in our country, as we get older, people get discriminated against. So you might be there for 30 years, and as you get older, they don't find a need for you and you lose those benefits. So I always tell people, for $75 to $100 a month, forget the cable, forget the cell phone, forget the stuff that we like, and make sure that our life insurance is in our budgets, because it's very important. We never know when we're going to lose somebody or ourselves, that our family members get an opportunity to get a head start. Only thing I saw was a message up here. She said, yes, I'm currently on fixed income. How do I insure myself?
Yeah.
You have any tips for Miss Kiki Robbins?
Well, I'm thinking it's important that we can, do a complimentary financial review and see, it's okay to have a fixed income, and we'll figure things out. And, we work around your budget. And if you need it, at least you get something. Something is better than nothing. So we definitely work around that.
Yeah. So Miss Kiki, if you want to reach out to Cynthia, her number is up there on the screen. She'll give you a consultant conversation. I guess she said she'll do it on the house.
Yeah,
because she's on both sides of the conversation, blessing the community. You could definitely reach out and talk to her. But I know people are on tight incomes and things are happening financially with this COVID. But again, I always tell people, if you have cable, if you have some of the other things, get rid of the stuff you don't need. And it's always money in there. I've had these meetings. I've done this budget stuff with people, and let me tell you, it's so much money in people's budgets that they don't even understand that they spend money on. I mean, going to Starbucks, just different things. I've seen people spend $400 or $500 a month on Starbucks and eating out. But I understand that money does get tight. Everybody's situation is definitely different. But I just think, while we all on here tonight, this is Educational Thursday, we are getting this type of information, Cynthia talked about it. We got to start in the Black and brown community, especially setting up a budget and really understanding where our money is going. And let me tell you, before I did it, I didn't know where my money was going, Cynthia. And I always tell people this story. Like, I didn't know. I started like, it's just, I made money and I'm just like, hey, I'm paying bills and doing what I'm doing, but I'm not really seeing where my money goes. And once you start putting in a budget and you start honing in, where you spending your money at, it definitely it really helps you be a little bit more intentional and aware of like where your money's going. I mean, I had money for personal trainers and this and that and this, and I wasn't even going all the time. I had 3 gym memberships, $80 each a month. I wasn't even going to the gym. So it's just, sitting down and doing a budget, a real budget, like I always tell people, really going through your bank statements, your debit card transactions, and really find out what your real budget is and not making up these numbers. Because sometimes people just want to make, I think I do about this much. And then you start finding out, no, you're actually spending about $120 a week at Starbucks. So maybe you should go to the house, buy some Starbucks coffee, take that $300 and make an investment and buy your own espresso machine. I mean, it's just different ways to do it. And, I think a lot of it is just, being, conservative with our money. And sometimes in our community, people always say, John, the problem with you guys' community is you guys are like liquid gold. You just get it and you spend it. And, having these conversations about money and budget. We're going to have some more phenomenal Sunday conversations with a bunch of financial coaches to further have these conversations, because I think it's a real conversation that needs to happen. And like you said, we didn't get this information. I always tell people the story. When I was in high school, I didn't learn nothing about financial literacy.
When I was in college, neither. I didn't get this information. And that's what I'm saying. And it's like, and it's also like, because like I talked about the beliefs and what you hold on to sometimes, and you hear that all the time. You're like, what? Money? Like, it's scary. I don't even want to know about it. But no, we have to like break that mindset, like, poverty and stuff as well, so that we know that we are worthy. Like, we can have this information. Like, wealthy people put these type of strategies when their babies are 2 weeks old. And they do that because they know over time they're going to accumulate the money. And, if we knew some of the strategies and could do that, that's what I'm saying with my grandbabies. I mean, I'm doing what I can, and I'm with my daughter, so she understands as well. Like, she's getting it, and and it takes time. Everybody's just on their own, like, well, what is this stuff? And being open to it and learning and having just really an open mind about it, and trusting that things are possible. You just got to know who to talk to.
No, definitely. And it starts, like you said, having that conversation. And I think that we just have to have a conversation, in our community. These conversations about financial literacy is like talking about mental health and every other taboo and stigma conversation that we don't want to have. But here at both sides of the conversation, we will have those conversations, those difficult ones, those uncomfortable conversations.
Yes.
We will make sure that our community is intentionally impacted, and we're going to keep doing this. This is not the end of it. We're going to keep bringing more people like Cynthia, because again, we understand sometimes people have to hear it from different people or whatever, but we're going to keep talking about financial literacy in our community, the economic power. And it starts with us being a little bit more intentional in our spending and our saving and our investments. And we're reaching out to some people to do some stock investment stuff. But again, I understand we coming out of this pandemic, people are losing their jobs, different things are happening, wages are being cut, but we still have to be intentional on what we're spending our money, so that we can make sure that we are doing the right things with our money. And like Cynthia said, setting our kids up for college. It's too many times in our community, we just think scholarships and we think, athletes and sports is going to get our kids to college. We need to make sure that we're planning for our young people with 529 accounts and setting up different investments accounts for college futures. Because one day that little kid that you're not so sure about might actually go to college. And saying that, we had 40 kids at 100% college prep, signing to go to college, and a lot of those kids did receive college scholarships. But as a community, as family members, as fathers and mothers of the community, if we plan for our kids and, just have it that they're going there, and we put the money up to really help them navigate these systems. And it helps them. It's very important to plan early, because again, those loans and that debt is what keeps that wealth gap in our community. You know, a lot of these other communities, their kids are they plan and prepare early. They
Yeah.
kids without a college, they don't have $100,000 worth of debt. So what happens? That's increasing their availability to do things economically, to invest, to save, to buy homes. When our kids, we take out loans and they got a college, they got a master's degree, and they got $200,000 worth of debt, right? So now
Yeah,
you're
I'm
talking
having that. I get, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, my son too, he got accepted he got accepted to 3 universities, to San Jose, to SAC, and San Francisco. And I'm just really proud of him because I know he wanted to go to San Jose and I wanted him to go to San Francisco, but things change. And just like a month ago, he told me he's going to go to San Francisco State University. And, I'm really excited for him. And yeah, I didn't have all that I wanted to, but at least, I have some.
And that's all that really matters. And tonight is an opportunity for other community people, so we don't have to have that conversation, and that's what this presentation is really about. It's starting to make our community aware of the things that we need to have to protect ourselves, protect our assets.
Yes.
Because in the Black and brown community, a lot of our wealth and a lot of our our economic power are lost because we don't have these insurances and protections in place to protect us when other communities do, and they leave their children generational wealth to move ahead. So we have to stop this in our community. It don't matter when I'm dead, the kids can figure it out. Some of these conversations that we have in our community. And or we get mad at our kids and I'm taking y'all off the life insurance policy. We have to stop that in our community. We have to break this generational curse of these financial issues. And we have to take time to educate our community. And I hope everybody that's out there gets to watch this video, share this video, go to our YouTube channel. There are a number of other financial videos that you can learn information from. Cynthia and I can't forget the other brother that was with you. They did another one on financial. John on financial. So the cool part about this technology that we have in this digital age that we're in, we're able to have these type of presentations and we can replay them and share them for community.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody take that time. We have time for everything else. We watch these reality shows. We do all the stuff that we're not supposed to do. Take the time, watch these videos, reach out to Cynthia, set up an appointment, have a conversation. Don't worry about being embarrassed. Come as you are and let us work with you to fix your financial situation so that you leave your kids a better financial future than we had. And again, our parents, they did the best they could. They taught us what they knew, which is, hey, balance the checkbooks, pay your bills on time. We didn't get all the in details of why you do this and how credit is, so it's just great to have you and others that come on to give this information to the community. And I hope our community appreciate this because there are people who pay thousands of dollars to get this information. So I just want community to know how important this is and why it's so much of a blessing to have Cynthia and other people that's come on this platform to give back to the community, because too many times in our community, people learn the information, they climb the corporate ladder, they climb the educational ladder, they take care of themselves and they forget about everybody else. So we want to thank you, Cynthia, for coming back, giving up the jewels and the information to the community. These gems are very priceless, and we just appreciate you and all the stuff that you do for our community and the Latin community and connecting us all. It takes courage to do that. It's a lot of pushback at times and resistance. But again, we are all one. We must work together, support each other, because again, the issues that we all face in the Black and brown community are the same. And the only way we get out of there is we have to face the phone and go ahead and deal with it. So thank you very much. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we close out tonight's shows? I don't see any other comments on there. I see Kiki was watching. Great information. Hope she get to go check out some of the other YouTube videos that we have for our Educational Thursday. She said, thank you, Cynthia. It was well spent time tonight. So that was nice.
Thank you.
And I know a lot of the community, we're doing this transition on both sides of the conversation now. We're pushing everybody to our YouTube. So I know people are still confused, like, where's the show at? We still live. I'm going to do my best to continue to try to push people to our YouTube as we make this transition. We was on, all of our social media handles. Grind time. My guy Jamil, he's watching. He said, feel like he missed some good stuff. Yes, brother. The show is over, but go to our YouTube, replay it, watch it. It was some good information. Definitely some good information I know you can use. Glad to see you tapping in. And we're going to just continue to do our best to educate the community to where we at. We're just trying to get all our community to come to one platform so that we can have interaction. A lot of the push was because, as everyone knows, there's been a lot of issues, not with just both sides of the conversation. A lot of content creators, a lot of people that have these platforms. There has been a lot of pushback from Facebook, different social sites. When it seems that when a Black and brown community come together to empower each other, they want to shut down our sites. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Instagram. Yeah. They're banning people pages for positive stuff, like good stuff. And I don't understand why. Well, I know why. But again, whenever we have our kids on here doing disrespectful things and people twerking and doing all that, those things can stay up. But when it comes to educate and empower our community, it seems like some people don't want us to get that information. And that's why we're going to YouTube so that we can stay up, we can get the information. And I know it was a lot of complaints and emails that we received from people in our group saying that when we were sharing it to the group and different things, people were commenting and the conversation was going on, but the resources and the information that our guest was putting up, they wasn't getting it out. So we just decided to make the transition, bring everybody to YouTube so that these resources, when people are giving information, is here, and you guys can follow and get that information because it's very important information. So with that being said, just want to say thank you. They said you have great energy.
Thank you.
They hit the like button. That's right. Like, subscribe.
Thank
turn
you.
the alert bell on. If you turn the alert bell on, anytime we go live, you will get a notification and you won't have to worry about missing the show, or at least you will know that we're on the air. And then before we leave, Cynthia, I just wanted to say one thing before. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to thank you so much too. But other thing is, I know I can do this presentation in Spanish. So when you're ready, I will share my information in Spanish as well. So I wanted to put that out there because, that's the only way to make sure that information is accessible for people.
Yes, most definitely. And we are working that out. And that's why we got to get everybody to our YouTube. There's functions that our team are working on to figure out so that when we're live and we'll be able to on YouTube at some point. We're going to figure this out. There's some communication.
I'll be here.
But there will be a way for our audience. If you have the different language barriers, hopefully moving forward in the future, you'll be able to watch it on YouTube in your language, and it'll translate from English to the whatever language you are. But also, with that being said, you all can go to our website. It's up here on the screen. If you click onto our home screen, right next to the donate button, there's a Google Translate button. You could click that button, and you can turn our entire website into the language that you speak so that you can read what's going on and how to be involved. We have a newsletter that's going to be coming out soon. We have some other things that's going to be happening with our website. So just wanted to give that information out there to community. And that thing has a lot of different languages. So whatever language you need, if you go to our website, click the Google Translate and it'll convert over to your language. But we are doing our best. We've heard from community. We're going to do our best to make sure that we can get these webinars and these shows to convert to different languages. We're working on it. It takes a daunting task to get a hold of people, especially right now with COVID happening, people just, not in the workplace, and trying to get a hold of people has been a challenge. But we're going to figure it out. We have nothing but time to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to grow here at Both Sides of the Conversation. With that being said, I want to thank our Both Sides of the Conversation team. We are transitioning. Different things are happening. Our team is grinding, and I just want to let them know behind the scenes, thank you all, because they are doing some phenomenal stuff, meeting with people, setting up things, making things happen. And again, none of this would happen without them. I just come and show up. I'm not even going to take the credit. I don't do much. I just show up, and they do all of the work in the background to make this thing happen. So I just want to thank all of them, our team, and all of our volunteers that continue to reach out. And there's people helping us all over behind the scenes to make this thing better. And we're just going to keep growing. But again, it takes community support, and we need community support. Like I said earlier, click the donate button. You can get a tax deduction. You can cash app us, whatever you want to do. Because what we're looking for before we end is we're looking for a software developer. Are we looking for people who know how to create apps and different things? We want to set up something that we can unify our communities with communication through text messages and through our app. because we know about the events that's been taking place, and we want people to be able to know what's going on. There's too many things happening in our community, and too many of our community leaders and organizations are not finding out what's going on to the last minute. So here at Both Sides of the Conversation, we're going to be intentional, and we're going to work together and find a software developer to put out what we need so that we can really connect our communities. And when incidents, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, we can all connect and unite. When there's events, things like that, we can reach out to the masses so that people show up and we represent our communities in the way we need to. So looking forward to that. And if anyone knows any software developers, anybody in the tech industry, we're here in the Bay Area, there's tech geniuses all around. Please have them reach out to us at Both Sides of the Conversation. You can reach us on our website, or both sides of the conversation at gmail.com. And we'll be definitely looking to work with them. And we're going to need support from the community, because I know it's going to be a nice cost to do this, but we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that we get this, because we want to impact our community intentionally and make sure that our community is aware and know what's going on. I know we got Citizen app, we have all these different apps out there, but we need a better app so that our people can mobilize and do what we need to do to show up when things are happening in our community, whether it's good, bad, or other. So just excited about that. We'll keep reaching out until we get what we need, and we're going to keep building this platform. We're going to be intentional to make sure that this really impacts our communities, whether it's from the language barrier or how we set it up. We're going to keep reaching out to the different guests in our Black and Brown community, and we just go keep pushing this platform forward. We're not going to stop. We are going to be the new TED Talk in the future. We call it into existence. We're going to be the TED Talk of the future, Both Sides of the Conversation, and we're going to do our part. It's going to take some time, but we're going to get there. We're patient. We have some great ideas, and we have some phenomenal people on this team that have some imaginations of where this thing could go if we just take the time and put it all together. So looking forward to that. So with that being said, I just want to let everybody know, thank you for watching tonight. This Sunday is Mother's Day. I want to say thank you to all of the mothers out there for the phenomenal things that our mothers do to impact our community. We will have a show. I know on Tuesday, we told people there was a 50-50 chance because it was Mother's Day that we might not have the show. I am here tonight to tell you we will have a show this Sunday at 2 p.m. We're going to have a phenomenal conversation. We have a few panelists, but we're going to highlight this sister, Jamie Wright. She is a phenomenal sister, and this conversation this Sunday is very important for our community, not only our mothers, but for the fathers of the community. She will be talking about domestic violence and some of the other violence in our community. She's a survivor. She is a resilient sister, and this conversation is going to be very important for our Black and Brown community, because we know there's domestic violence that has happened in our community, in our homes, especially during this pandemic. We had our district attorney on there. The number of cases of domestic violence increased during this pandemic, and we want to highlight this, and we're going to have these tough conversations. I know it's Mother's Day, but I think it's a conversation that we need to have. So I just want to thank Jamie for coming on, and she's going to bring some phenomenal guests, and we're going to try to get a couple more people to join this conversation, because domestic violence is real, and we need to cease it in our community, and we need to hear from the men and the women of the community, and how to fix this and how to better equip our community, so when these things happen, we stick together and make sure that our mothers and our families are protected, and they know how to get support, because sometimes it's silent. People don't speak about it. And also our young people. There's a lot of teenage relationships that get impacted by domestic violence. And we're going to talk about it. So it's going to be a powerful conversation. I know it's going to be a little emotional, and it's going to be touching for some people, and I understand. But here at Both Sides of the Conversation, our job is to make sure that we have these taboo and stigma conversations that we don't like to talk about in our community. Bring a full face to the community and have these difficult conversations. So I'm looking forward to this Sunday. It should be a very, very powerful conversation. And then Tuesday, we'll continue up with another Hidden Gem segment. We'll be highlighting some more community leaders and Black and Brown businesses that we do every Tuesday. We'll be highlighting some more people that are doing phenomenal things to impact our community positively. And then next Thursday, we're going to have a phenomenal guest come on and talk about dance and different things of that nature. So it should be a great week ahead. We will be out at a couple of events. I know people asking where we're going to be at this Saturday. We'll be at 2 Mother Day events. We'll be at one event at the Baby Y, and then we'll be at another event at Indian Basin in San Francisco to celebrate some of our mothers who lost their child to violence in the community and some of the other things to highlight our mothers. So looking forward to being out with community this weekend. And then we got some phenomenal events coming up. We got Carnival coming up. We got Juneteenth coming up next month. It's going to be some phenomenal things that we're going to be doing here. So I can't wait. I'll be out there and I'll keep the community posted of where we at, what we're doing until we get our newsletters out. But more stuff is coming down the pipeline. Hang in there. We're doing our best. We have a small team, but we have a courageous and fearless team that's not going to give up until everything our community needs gets. And that's just what we're going to do. So with that being said, thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight for Educational Thursday. We want to thank Cynthia for coming on, doing what you do for the community, blessing us with the information that we need. And I hope everybody takes this conversation seriously. Make sure you get the life insurance. Make sure you get the financial information you need. Set up a consultation with Cynthia and make sure you come talk to her about all your financial needs so we can start turning our community around, changing the narrative in our pockets with financial literacy. So thank you very much. We will see you all this Sunday. Have a great weekend. All our mothers out there, enjoy your Mother Day weekend. Have fun. We'll see you Sunday.